What's up, feet lovers and mom huggers? Welcome back to another Trades and Gains episode, and this is a follow-up to the videos we've been making about the government shutdown. And unless you work, of course, you work for the federal government, welcome to unpaid vacation. Yes, Washington has done it again. The United States government officially shut down at 12:01 a.m. this morning, if that's what you want to call it. That's right. The world's largest economy, military superpower, inventor of the cheeseburger, and somehow we can't even keep the lights on in our own offices right now. We're basically Blockbuster Video, but instead of VHS tapes, which we probably have some of those, we have more nukes. So here's the short version. Republicans, they want a clean bill, meaning no extra stuff, right? Just keep things funded as is. Democrats want concessions, like extending Affordable Care Act subsidies that keep people from paying $5,000 a month for health insurance. And Trump, well, being Trump, wants to prove he's still the boss by threatening mass firings during the shutdown. Nothing says, I care about America, well, like firing America. And they all met in the Oval Office Monday to hash this out, which translated from Washington speak means they yelled at each other for 3 hours, leaked insults to Politico, then went home to fundraise off the chaos. Us. So, what's the actual damage here and what is actually going on? Because it's like, great, the government shut down, but what happens next? Well, the Smithsonian and National Zoo are locked up, and yes, the animals are still going to get fed. National parks, well, they're technically open, but they're unsupervised. If you ever wanted to graffiti Half Dome or wrestle a buffalo or ride a moose, now is your chance. And Capitol tours, well, they're suspended. So sorry, tourists, you'll just have to Google how to waste money and get nothing done instead. And sorry to all the 8th graders who worked so hard to collect those box tops to go on their 8th grade field trip. Federal workers, well, guess what? About 850,000 are either furloughed or working without pay. TSA agents and air traffic controllers are still showing up, though, because America may be broke, but we're not suicidal. But here's the good news. Social Security checks, Medicare, Medicaid, and veterans benefits, they're going to still flow through the country and take care of those people. Now, why? Well, because they're funded by mandatory spending, which is Washington's way of saying we already stole that money from your paycheck, so here's some of that back for you. Great. And here's where it gets really fun, or terrifying depending on your perspective. Trump's team has figured out that shutdowns give the presidents even more power. He can basically decide which programs keep running and which ones get the axe and don't exist anymore. Day one, well, he already paused $18 billion for infrastructure in New York City and another $8 billion for green energy projects in blue states, because nothing says fiscal responsibility like punishing your political opponents while giving Argentina a $20 billion bailout. Yes, Argentina. I feel like I'm saying that weird. Anyways, don't ask. It's like when your broke uncle insists on buying drinks for everyone at the bar. Don't worry, I'll put it on the credit card I haven't paid since 2007. Now, Wall Street is watching this clown show like it's Game 7 of the World Series. Because guess what? A shutdown delays data. Yes, Friday's job report, that might not come out now. And by the way, today's ADP report, we were expecting 45,000 jobs, and guess how many we delivered? Well, if you guessed anything above 0, you would be extremely incorrect. We actually reported negative 32,000. Yeah. So just let that sink in as well. And guess what? Inflation reports delayed. GDP data not happening, bud. That means the Fed, who's already split between cut rates now, and oh God, don't you dare, because remember the buyer's remorse after the 50-point cut we did last year, could be flying blind at their next meeting coming up in the next week or so. And markets, if it's one thing they hate more than flying, it's flying blind. That's how you crash into a recession iceberg. Goldman Sachs says if it lasts more than a couple weeks, unemployment could tick up by 0.2%. That doesn't sound like much, but that's hundreds of thousands of jobs. And you can bet CNBC will spend 48 hours straight calling it the end of capitalism as we know it. So, what does this mean for the average American exactly? Well, if you're a federal worker, it sucks. You either are at home unpaid or you're at work unpaid. So either way, you're unpaid. The government promises back pay, but in the meantime, well, good luck with rent or your mortgage or any type of living expense at this point. If you're waiting on a passport, a student loan adjustment, a small business loan, or a federal inspection, delayed. And if you're a farmer, factory owner, or trucker waiting on tariff rules, Trump says, don't worry, those are essential functions. Of course they are, because if there's one thing we're not going to pause in America, it's sticking tariffs on other countries. So think about it. Priorities, people. Priorities. And the irony here is this. Every day the shutdown drags on, it costs the economy billions. Billions lost in productivity, delayed contracts, consumer confidence, you name it. It's like burning down your own house to make a point about how much you hate the electric bill. Now, both sides are betting on one thing here. You, the consumer. Yes, I'm looking at you. They're betting you'll blame the other guy. Republicans are already blasting out emails that say Democrats shut down your government because they care more about Obamacare subsidies. Democrats are blasting out their own emails. Trump shut down your government because he wants to fire your grandma. And you, well, you're stuck in the middle like a child of divorce, wondering why the hell the country that invented Amazon Prime can't even pass a budget without turning it into the Hunger Games or the long winter from Game of Thrones. So here's why this one feels bigger than the usual government shutdown that we do feel. Trump's White House is openly talking about using shutdown to permanently fire workers, cut programs, and basically shrink the US government by force. They're calling it DOGE 2.0. Yes, like the meme coin. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I wish I was. Our federal government is now literally being managed like a Solana cryptocurrency. So what's going to happen next? Well, maybe they cut a deal in a week, a month. Maybe we're still here by Christmas. But here's what we know. The stock market will whipsaw depending on whether data is released. The Fed will be stuck making decisions with half the picture, and federal workers will pay the price first. And the average American will once again realize that Washington treats governance like an improv class. A shutdown isn't just about politics. It's about whether your kid's school lunch gets inspected, whether your mortgage paperwork clears, whether your Social Security disability claim gets processed. So yeah, this is a circus, but it's one where the clowns are in charge of your paycheck. And as Bill Maher would say, if you're laughing, it's the only way you can stop crying. I'm Max Pitts, this is Trades and Gains. Like, subscribe, comment your hottest take down below, what you think is going to happen with this government shutdown. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a great day.